Imagine you've woken up to find the world tearing apart at the seams. Nothingness drips from the heavens onto the world and steals your memories. It banishes reality into a memory hole of entropy. You wander the barren landscape, void of life or feature. You wander endlessly, walking circles around the world to try and find some sort of meaning or some respite in the void that consumes your world. But then you remember something. Didn't there used to be a mountain here? And with just one thought, that one memory, that mountain you remember appears on the horizon. It's not much, but it's something. It inspires you to carry on. As you wander the landscape, you remember more and more of the hills and rivers and forests that used to be here, and let them appear before you, strengthening you with the resolve to find what, or who, is responsible for this disaster. Of course, you fail. You were never meant to win. The end of the world has already begun, and you're just delaying the inevitable. Miraculously, you survive. A camp of other survivors in this nightmare void you find yourself in find you and bring you back. They welcome you into their home. They patch you up, tell you they're glad to have you, but tell you that you're the only one who can remember anything. They've forgotten their names, their families, their homes. They're even afraid to leave camp in fear of never finding their way back. They tell you it's up to you to bring the world back to order, and if you can't manage that, well, the least you could do is bring back some resources to help make life a little easier in their village. So you pick up your sword and shield and head back into the void. You head into the loop. You notice things are different. Where did all of those mountains go? Where did those little villages you found on your way disappear to? Were they swallowed by the void? Did you just forget about them? Regardless, you carry on. You slowly remember the world as it was and put it back together. And you do it. You do it again, and again, and again, and again. You get up after every agonizing defeat at either the hands of evil seeking the death of reality, or the monsters that your memory has brought into existence that are desperate to get what they can while they can. You never stop this cycle of remembrance and violence. You just keep going in this loop. You have to. You don't do it for glory. Nobody will remember your death, your sacrifices. You do it because you have to. You're the only one who can. You're the loop hero. The narrative behind Loop Hero is a simple one. A lich is trying to memory hold the universe, and as the universe disappears, so do the people within it, and those who survive lose their memories of what was lost. All except for the hero, who seems to be able to remember things nobody else can and bring them back from the void. He doesn't at first understand why he's able to do what nobody else can, but that doesn't really stop him. He's the hero. It's his job to save the day. Normally, roguelites don't have to have big, deep stories to them, and Loop Hero is no exception, but there is at least an excellent narrative. Encountering something new for the first time gets dialogue from him, and he always attempts to recruit the creatures and beings he finds along the way, only for them to tell him it's not in their nature to save the world. They have their own problems they need to take care of, and his problems don't concern them. The hero, he's kind of a perceptive character. He often ponders the morality of what he does, namely when it comes to the violence that occurs around him and his own response to it. Is it worth bringing back the world if it means bringing back the inherent violence that comes with it? Can he complain about the violence around him if he also engages in it? These creatures have their own goals they're pursuing and use violence to bring their goals to life, but is he any different? Sure, he's trying to save the world, but does anybody other than him seem to care? Is it worth bringing back a world that doesn't care? As he continues his journey, conversations with the Lich and others bring about small hints of story and raise more questions about the nature of the slow erasure of reality. Without spoiling anything, I can say there's actually a bit more to this game than you'd expect at first glance, but the majority of the narrative is atmospheric. Again, it's a roguelike. It's not much, but it's still more than others in the genre. Loop Hero is a weird, excellent mishmash of a million different genres. As I said before, it's a roguelike in that this game is a series of runs where permanent progression is made outside of each run and levels and gear reset after each time you die or win. It's also an RPG, it's got those stats. It's an auto-battler, but don't think that means you aren't playing. If you look away, your dude is gonna get killed. It's a looter, because you're constantly gaining gears from fallen enemies and frantically looking over stats to figure out which one has the highest numbers. It's also a city planner, sort of, but you do decide where you want the landscape and you can strategically place landscapes to maximize your stat growth. All of these ideas come together to work perfectly. Imagine the developers sitting down and writing down what their favorite video games are and what the mechanics are, and then every dev has a different genre for their favorite games. It's hard to say where to start when talking about the gameplay, honestly, but I can say I gave an overview of the game when talking about where all the different influences came from. You start off in a barren landscape with nothing but a few slimes to kill, and every time you kill a monster, it'll drop either equipment or tiles for you. You can already kind of guess what equipment will do for you if you've ever played a video game before, but the landscapes are the hero's memories of the past, and you can place them wherever you like, and they directly affect your stats. For example, you start off with rocks and meadows. Sometimes rocks will appear as the more powerful version, mountains, and placing each one gives a bonus to your maximum HP, but they also give additional bonuses when placed next to other rocks or mountains, which encourages you to create sweeping mountain ranges on your horizon. Meadows are also pretty cool because they give you a burst of healing at the start of each day. Most of the tiles have combo effects when placed with another tile, and I'll show you two here. When you have 9 mountains or rocks next to each other, they form a big mountain, and they give a much bigger health bonus. And the meadow, which normally heals you for 2 HP at the start of each day, becomes blooming meadows when placed next to a tile that isn't a meadow. There are more combos and more tiles out there, but I encourage you to get this game and find them all for yourselves. Now, in addition to landscape tiles, there's also road and roadside tiles, and what they do is they spawn monsters. Now, you might be asking yourself, why would I want to spawn monsters? And for this, there's 2 answers. The first is easy. Killing monsters is rad. Second, monsters are going to appear regardless of whether or not you put down monster spawning tiles or not. In fact, putting down many landscape types even creates tiles that form monsters. So not only will they appear on their own, but they get stronger every time you complete a loop. And if you don't kill enough monsters to get more landscapes and gear, it won't be long before they overpower you. You have to kill monsters in order to be able to survive killing more monsters. And of course, it's not just the monsters you have to kill, you have to survive the Lich, who only appears when you place enough tiles on your map. Just, whatever you do, don't die. I mean, obviously don't die, you don't want to die in a video game, but specifically in Loop Hero, dying is frustrating. All of the resources that you pick up on the run goes to improving your camp, which unlocks additional features and permanently increases your stats, but when you die, you only get to keep 30% of the resources that you picked up. That sucks. That really sucks. You like those resources, you needed them. If you think you're about to die, there is an alternative though. At any point outside of combat, you can retreat and keep 60% of your resources. Still not enough for you? Fine. You were scared, little baby? You want to keep all the resources but don't think you'll be able to kill the boss? On your campfire tile, which triggers the start of a new loop and heals you, that's when you can retreat and keep 100% of your resources. This is where you have to make a tough call. Do you want to leave early and make sure you save all of the resources, or are you going to get greedy and go for more? This game is incredibly charming, and the art style and music really grow on you. When you first take a look at the game, it looks like something that could have come out 20 years ago on the Super Nintendo. Sorry, 30 years ago on the Super Nintendo. While pixel graphics have been kind of wearing on me over the last 10 years due to the abundance of them in indie games, Loop Hero actually does them really well. All of the characters are drawn great and more representative of what actual pixel graphics looked like back in the day compared to what most indie devs think retro pixel graphics look like. The sprite work is absolutely well done for the hero and all of his enemies and all of the designs, and even for the tiny landscapes and gear, they're drawn so clearly and distinct that you know exactly what you're looking at the moment you look at it. Most of the attack animations only have 2 or 3 frames, and truthfully that's fine with me. It's stylistic and I don't need more than that. The music is actually pretty good too. In fact, I've been using it for this review. It's not something I'd say I just turn on and jam out to in the car like a lot of other video game OSTs, but it perfectly sets the tone of the game. It's consistent with the retro feel that Loop Hero has. Loop Hero has been out for a couple of weeks now and had a small sale to celebrate its release, and I bought it during the sale for about $12 I think, but when I came back to the page to look to see what the price is now for this portion of the review, I saw it's only $15, which is still incredible. One of the things I base my opinion on when it comes to a game's price is how much I play it versus how much I paid for it. In general, I feel if I can play a game for at least 1 hour for every dollar I paid, it's an awesome game. I'm already clocked in at 60 hours on this game. I'm not even done yet. The game is absolutely worth the $15 it costs to buy, and it goes to an indie developer too. I played the demo of this game back when it was recommended to me in my Steam queue back in February, and I've been waiting for it ever since. It's been out for a few weeks now, and I was hoping to get this review out sooner, but honestly I've been too busy playing this game to actually sit down and write and edit this thing. I've spoken to a lot of other friends about this game and those who've played it, and they're about as addicted as I am. It's an awesome game, it's highly addictive, I love everything about it. I have literally nothing negative to say about this game. I recommend this game to absolutely anybody. I played the demo of this game back when it was recommended to me in my Steam queue back in February, and I've been waiting for it ever since. It's been out for a few weeks now, and I was hoping to get this review out sooner, but honestly I've been too busy playing this game to actually sit down and write and edit this thing. I've spoken to a lot of other friends about this game and those who've played it, and they're about as addicted as I am. It's an awesome game, it's highly addictive, I love everything about it. I have literally nothing negative to say about this game. I recommend this game to absolutely anybody.